So welcome everybody. My name is Cole Simcoe. You are currently in attendance at the Higher Education Engagement and Transformation, or HEET, Community of Practice Kickoff. We're going to go ahead and jump into things, and I'm going to turn things over to our speakers today.
Yeah, hello. This is Yolande Miller-Granvaux. I'm with FHI 360, and I'm the champion for the Community of Practice. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I think I'll take it over as with for Jessie.
Yes, go ahead, Judith.
Yes, hi everyone, welcome to HEET CoP Kickoff. We are excited to add yet another CoP. My name is Judith. I work with Global Knowledge Initiative, YP2LE Community Manager, and we're looking forward to a great engagement and more interactions in the future. Thank you. Jessie?
Yes. Hi, I'm Jessie Bellma. I'm a communities manager as well, working with the YouthPower Learning Network. And Judith and I work together to support the COPs. We're here really to make sure that Yolanda and Albina have what they need.
Hi everyone, good morning, good evening. My name is Albina Tortpaeva. I'm from Kazakhstan, and I'm currently studying my master in education and international development at UCL. I'm Chevening Scholar. And while everyone is writing in chat about where are you from, what positions do you hold, where do you study or work, I would like to tell a bit story about myself. As a student who studied in my region and international level, I sometimes felt with my peers as well that as a youth, we are not put into the center of higher education. There are a lot of rote learning, bureaucracy. Sometimes our needs and voice, it wasn't heard as we wished for. So we needed education to be transformative, to put our interest into the heart and to cater for our needs. So for me, it was very important to be youth advisor for this new higher education, engagement, transformation, community of practice, to make voice of youth heard and to learn new positive youth development tools with you. Okay, we can go to the next slide. And today, as I said, it's community of practice. We are learning together with you. So happy everyone is joining from all over the world. I see like familiar names. So what we're going to do today, we want to introduce you to the network, to the community of practice, which we're talking about. We want to share goals and expectations. And together, let's brainstorm ideas for learning, for sharing, for collaborating, because it's joint learning virtual meeting space. And of course, we will talk about next steps.
Thank you, Albina. So I will just give you an overview of the network. Next, thank you, Cole. To second what Albina was saying, we are in this because we believe that a bridge can be built between higher education and all the wonderful youth programming that is taking place. Higher education programming does remarkable work trying to include marginalized youth, to get youth to come into tertiary education and higher education institutions and to stay. And after the stay, to graduate and possibly achieve their dreams for a career or livelihoods. And on the youth programming side, we see remarkable work being done to help the youth with many tools, many approaches to get them to access education and further skill building programming. So we saw a need to bridge that gap, the gap between all the supply that higher education institutions provide and the supply and demand from the youth programming side. So we have the privilege of being hosted by YouthPower. And what YouthPower is a funding mechanism that that is funded by the United States Agency for International Development. And it has been focused on youth as a main beneficiary, looking at implementation of projects, conducting evaluations, doing research. And specifically, the YouthPower II learning and evaluation has been focusing on building and generating evidence and knowledge and managing that knowledge so that we can have an approach to youth building that is sustainable. The project for learning evaluation through YouthPower is managed by Making Sense, and our colleagues that you see here are present here. There are two platforms that we use to make this happen. One is youthpower.org, which is a platform for all of us who implement youth programming for youth serving organizations, and they're worldwide. They're big ones and small ones, extremely active ones. They have been in place on this platform for a long time and really help bring the agenda for sustaining youth organizing, youth serving organizations forward. And the other platform is YouthLead, where young policy makers, change makers, advocacy champions meet and talk and exchange information and evidence to promote the youth power agenda. Next. So what YouthPower does, as I said earlier, it takes youth as its main beneficiary. But why? To really implement and achieve some change and systems change, which is not easy to do, right? And you see the approach that we take here. The main one is the positive youth development approach, and a lot of evidence and knowledge has been generated over the years on what is it that makes youth able to function in a given institution, in a given context, including in conflict and crisis context, getting youth to access more opportunities for further education or for livelihoods and career. So this framework that you see is the one we use to really empower youth to be to reach their potential. Next. So this youth positive youth development has been heavily supported by not only funders like USAID, but also by other youth serving organizations that we've been working with for decades. And again, they're all over the world, and everything is contextualized, whether it's crisis, conflict context, or peaceful context, if there are any these days. The COVID crisis is a new context for us, but it's looking at what assets do youth have? What are they? And they're all broken down. What agency does youth need to be productive, to be healthy, to be engaged? What contribution can youth provide? What enabling environment can in this case, higher education institutions provide so that youth will feel comfortable thinking about the opportunity that a university or higher education institution can provide? What enabling environment is best for young women who have to deal with issues of gender-based violence sometimes? What enabling environment make it safe and productive for youth to access higher education institutions, to stay in higher education institutions, and to graduate with the right skills and aspirations that they need to be productive. So this framework is accessible on the YouthPower website, of course, but it has been used all over the world and is very successful. So again, we're trying to bridge to bridge higher education institution and all these youth serving institutions that work on this framework. My dog is playing with a squeaky bowl, and if you hear that, it's not me, it's the dog. That's courtesy of COVID environment. Next, please. So within this wonderful hosting mechanism that we have through YouthPower, a number of communities of practice have been created. All of them bring together, again, stakeholders from all over the world, beneficiaries, funders, donors, to talk about issues, to promote a specific agenda, promote it forward so we can access more funding, so we can access more evidence, so we can research it in a more sustainable way and really inform the field so that when we have programming in the field, whether it is in a higher education institution, whether it's within a youth program, whether it's in a crisis or conflict affected environment, whether it's in a stable environment, so that we are ready to really bring together all the assets of higher education institutions and youth. For this community practice that you see here, you see business and entrepreneurship, and right now we have over 200 members. Youth engagement, how do youth engage? In this case, how can we engage in higher education institutions to make it more conducive to retention and graduation? A little bit like tackling issues that Albina talked about. Gender, youth systems is a new one that will come on board, and we have a specific one in Arabic and English in the Middle East, which is absolutely terrific. So it gives you an idea of what world we are part of with this higher education engagement and transformation community of practice. Next. So this is our goal. Our goal is really to engage you all, the international education community, to advance higher education and youth learning priorities. We want to engage older youth to integrate positive youth development approaches and work to strengthen that link, to build that bridge. We have amazing, remarkable work that has been done already, funded by USAID in Latin America, in Afghanistan, in many parts of the world, and we base ourselves on these lessons learned to promote this new agenda. So the group link, you need to memorize it, copy it, write it down. This is where a lot of the discussions and dialogues will take place, and that's where all the information that we will be sharing will take place. So now we'll turn it on to my other champion, Albina.
Thank you, Yolande. Yeah, as Yolande explained, we have our small kind of virtual learning world. And as any community, we have our principles, guiding principles that were actually created based on the input from all learning community through interviews, discussions. You can see them on the slide. And if I would say shortly, the main idea is to empower each other, to ensure that we have member agency and agility, that in this group size, which is very convenient for dynamics, for engagement, we can learn from each other. We can create and curate practical resources, which are at the heart of our network. So we share them, we learn from each other in a really inclusive, diverse community, because diversity in positive youth development community, it's really important for us. It includes youth, global south, range of languages. So we all together shape our community. Next slide, please. And so how does COP work? There was a question in the chat on how do COPs work? Do they intersect? Of course, we work with each other through meeting at monthly COP meetings. Every COP, I refer to community of practice. So this is a new term for our insiders. And we do networking. We love forums, meetings, this is our plans. We do webinars like this one. In this new reality. We share tools, resources, events on youthpower.org. Please do register at this platform. My colleagues shared in a chat links, which helps you to go and register for such a community of practice, to be always on a news, to know, to stay tuned. And also everyone can participate in development of our products. It really depends on you. You can design, run own small groups. You can share your needs, resources, expertise, and you can propose topics. So we really welcome being proactive. being contributor, being team player. And you can see here roles, which we shortened. And as a youth advisor, me and Yolanda as our champion, we help to facilitate, to run this virtual learning environment. And we always try to listen to your needs, to shape together some products that will benefit our development as a person, as a professional. Next slide, please. So now I think there was a lot of information to digest, and we just want to check in with you. Do you have some questions till this moment? Maybe something unclear for you? Please, it's a safe environment. You can just write in a chat or unmute yourself. Yeah, welcome. And if nobody has any questions, I think we can move forward. We have more time for, yeah, as Cole put, you can, please feel free to place any questions during the workshop in the chat during the meeting. So now, please, everyone, let's use our brains together in a brainstorming session. How we do it? There is website or I don't know resource called Padlet, which I think we can share now. So as we told before, today we are meeting together and we are trying to shape our next agenda, our plans, how we're going to work together to find active members. So there are 3 questions that will be shared on a Padlet. So you can just use, there is a link shared, just a second on a chat. It's padlet.com. So just click on this link and you will go to a website that we will share now in a live option. So you can just answer the questions. And just to give you more clarification, if some questions are unclear, please do ask. But what we mean by the first question, what issues do you see in connecting higher education institutions and students? We wanted to learn your ideas around pressing topics, debates, any problems happening between higher education and youth. For example, we did small informal survey among our friends, folks from higher education sector and youth, and they shared such problems such as inclusion. How do universities ensure minority groups are being really brought into the process? Their needs are catered for, and they're included in the learning and teaching process adequately. Or green economy, how we incorporate green skills into our curriculum, teaching and learning one. Or any other things, career services. How do we prepare youth for the jobs that still do not exist? Yeah, I think you agree. How universities can help young people get the skills they want. Which skills? 21st century skills. There's so many things we can discuss. The second question, so we just shared these topics. Maybe you have any recommendations how we can address them, how we can together solve these problems, challenges, like debates. And the last question, as I said, we are looking for active members. We are looking for peers, for colleagues, as we just don't want to be only speaking people with Yolanda. So please, how do you want to contribute to the development of our community, which we just launching now in a live status. So maybe you want to be speaker, or maybe you want to organize event or share some research. Let's share different researches from global south, north, in different languages. So, and now, thank you so much. We are seeing some responses. Yolanda, what do you think?
This is absolutely terrific. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. putting students at the center of decision making, widening access, and it is true that we've seen. I've seen, for instance, in like Honduras and Jamaica and DR and Guatemala, a huge effort by universities to bring marginalized youth who never dreamt of entering higher education institution, never dreamt of it, and got in. But it took effort, and we need to learn from it. The match between education, skill sets, and employment, that's, you know, what youth want. They, you know, whatever environment they come from, they want to get a job. They want to make a living and have the right skills. But what are they? And there's a lot of literature on it, but there are gaps too. And that's where the community of practice comes in. Tell us what you see as gaps.
Yeah. And from responses, I see that people agree with us. They talk about linking programs to labor market. I think alignment of curriculum to the real labor market needs. They talk about funding issues, which I think true for everyone. And we discussed before, if universities maybe incorporate or work more with positive youth development, does it mean they can have access to more funding? So that was one of the interesting points for our discussion before. People put digital divide. I think COVID context especially made this gap very wide in this access to education and quality of education. Connecting universities with those in the global north. Yeah, so the developing countries, career orientation. Okay, so many interesting topics, and people share recommendations. They want that they say we can share best practices, we can exchange technical skills, we can create monthly calls, which we would do for sure, to talk in small groups together. They say we can focus on private sector engagement to create soft skill synergy. More feedback and surveys to collect data. I think data and evidence-based decision-making is so vital, and many countries do not have this data to build their decisions. And about how members can contribute, Yolanda, I see people want to be speakers. It's awesome. People can share best practices, case studies. Maybe we could do collaborative research, they say. Why not? And Lara says she could run leadership event or entrepreneurship boot camps, which I think is a great idea. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, because we were worried that people might be shy and not type, but it's so a lot of responses.
That's great. Yeah, and I love seeing some students saying what they need. It is, I mean, it is Albina's stories. You know, I'm putting money and resources into my education. Am I really getting what I need? I'm ready to work so hard, and I'm surrounded by wonderful faculty and higher education institution staff. But am I really, you know, how optimal is it?
Absolutely. And this online education also, I mean, many students now protesting, they don't feel the tuition fees are adequate to the education they receive. There's so many
Disability and inclusion, it is, I mean, higher education has not really taken on the exercise of training teachers, training faculty, in universal design learning, and really catering to various students with various disabilities. That's a huge gap that we're seeing. But we hear, that's exactly what we're here for, to convene, you know, to convene around these issues and see if we can move the agenda forward, and maybe get resources to make it, you know, make it happen.
I just wonder, Yolanda, if some of our contributors to the Padlet would like to unmute themselves and maybe share their opinion, comments, we would be very happy to hear.
And tell us if you, I mean, some of you have already, if you have good examples good or bad. I mean, that's what learning is about, the good and the bad, that you'd be interested in presenting and sharing with us. We will meet monthly, so we'll have an opportunity to really share what we know and share what we don't know, and say, you know what, this is missing. What can we do? And take it on.
Yeah. I see Jennifer Lauren put great comment. Jennifer, would you like to tell more about what you mean? In maybe unmuting yourself. It was a great comment on including students with disabilities. No.
Yeah, as she's talking, there's also TVET. TVET tends, the discourse around TVET evolves, and sometimes it's forgotten, sometimes it's picked back up, and it's something that there's a lot of demand for. So that's a key area that we could also tackle.
I also see Lara put interesting comments, and I just wonder if she could elaborate on them more. Lara, are you with us?
Hello.
Oh, great.
Yeah, the thing, I'm driving, so I just wanted to focus more. So basically, thank you for this initiative. I started the session not on time. I mean, I came in late. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that there's a kind of gap, especially amid the COVID-19 and the new normal between what we're teaching, the curriculum, and the job market. Especially, we're having employability rates, and I'm being more specific to Lebanon now. I know it's a global issue, but I just want to bring it back to specify our Lebanese case. We have this massive unemployability rate, and I think most of us share it, but we need to work more on the 21st century skills, and not only through career services, but also through the curriculum. And we're glad that this year we're integrating one of the courses, the Work Ready Now, with the USAID, HECD, and EDC. But I think there are more to more to be done to make academia and the job market come together. So we can work on this, and with your support and the support of colleagues and your network, hopefully. And also leadership and soft skills are also of great importance as I see them, and as research and the WEF report, McKinsey, Deloitte, they all highlight these skills importance. So I don't know what this is what I was thinking of when you mentioned the questions. And there is one issue that I always discuss with my colleagues, and like we share ideas about it. It's the Centennials engagement with other than the required courses and electives, the engagement within career services, within clubs, within the activities, not only extracurricular activities, but really activities that would boost their employability rate, or let's say entrepreneurial mindset. So this is one of the major issues that I always would like to tackle and get advice about, which is outreach and engagement. Thank you for giving me the chance to share my ideas here.
Thank you, Lara, so much. I totally agree with you, because this problem is also in my country about youth unemployment rates being very high, but officially very low, and COVID bringing challenges. We also here think about how we can ensure youth have the skills they need to get dignified employment, not just any work, but secure jobs. And some of my peers say the problem is not in education, but in economy. There is no skilled jobs available. So there are debates going in our classrooms at the moment. And I also see some people bringing great ideas Josh, you said systems mapping exercise would be amazing idea. What could you please tell what do you mean by systems mapping exercise? Do we have Josh here?
Josh is probably typing.
Maybe, yeah, you can type. Also, there was about TVET comment to Yolanda, you're saying.
Hi, this is Lisa, and I also mentioned the systems mapping. It was something that an earlier community of practice training was done. I think it would be really interesting as a COP to actually take the opportunity to do a systems map with some of the topics here that have been laid out, to consider then how we could think through that as a community of practice and create some sort of either models for use, and then people could contextualize them for their own individual locations.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Lisa. I also see Josh replied. He says, identify what the topics are and how they connect to practices and what the gaps are. I think it's really interesting practical tool we could do together, exercise. Yeah. Yolanda, do you want to?
Absolutely. Eric, University of Arizona, would you talk, would you clarify what you're saying?
Hi, Yolanda. What specific comment?
When we say the system map exercise with the group to think about how to map the skills systems approach with higher ed, can you clarify?
I didn't comment on that specifically, but I think that one of the things I see in USAID programming through mechanisms like Helix is to strengthen the higher education system and to engage US universities with universities in other countries to strengthen the higher education system. So one of the challenges there, of course, is, what are the components of that system, and where are the weaknesses and focus areas where that system needs to be strengthened? What's the role of the government or private sector in strengthening the higher education system? So I think that could be a useful exercise geared towards that kind of a project.
Great. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Definitely putting that down. Excellent. Can you, for all of you who talked about connecting universities from the South with universities from the North, or even, was it Uzma, now making the curriculum more international. Cannot pronounce that word. Can you talk more about, anyone talk about that? How can we really get North and South universities to connect and synergize? What are the issues there that we could address?
So Robin Lerner had this point about internationalizing of the curriculum. So Robin, if you are online, can you please?
Sure. Hi, Yolande. It's nice to be here. Yeah, we are seeing, virtual exchange is a mechanism where we use technology to connect classrooms, and our universities, many of them, and K-12 schools have been using that as a tool of teaching in the classroom to bring in international concepts and connect students. And before COVID, it was kind of a thing that people did who were really passionate about this idea that you could equalize study abroad for students who won't travel, whose parents don't support it, who feel they can't afford it, all those things. And so you're really opening up this ability to have at least some kind of international connection with somebody around the world. And the teachers or the faculty are collaborating with one another to do a joint, they have their own curriculum, and they either find a module that they collaborate around, or they can even do a fully facilitated class where the two, teachers, instructors really coordinate their learning outcomes to do jointly. Some projects here in Texas have even been a mix of virtual exchange that's followed by a Maymester in-person study abroad or short-term study abroad. But the virtual exchange field has often been seen as this substitute for in-person study abroad. But what we're starting to look at is the tool itself to give students the career skills that they will need in terms of communicating through technology with people around the world and all the challenges that come with the use of technology, and learning the various platforms that are available to them in a situation of actual practice. And it's actually really challenging and effective for our instructors, but they need the training for that. And so that, I mean, you can do this in low bandwidth, you can do it in high bandwidth. You know, it's potentially a way, Yolande, to connect our universities in a cost-effective way as a starting place. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Robin, can you say what organization you're with?
Yes, I'm with the Texas International Education Consortium. We are based in Austin, Texas. We're a consortium of universities in Texas, and we have now opened up to international universities around the world to partner with us.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you. How do we get more universities from the South to be part of this community of practice? What would be the best way to do that? We tried as hard as we could, but we need more as well. If you have ideas on that, please let us know.
Excuse me, if I could follow up on Robin too. My name is Bill Simmons. I'm at the University of Arizona, and I think this kind of addresses both what Robin was saying and how to get more universities involved. We're pioneering a model we're calling multinodal problem-based learning. And we just had a course in our human rights practice program, which connected 4 universities, 6 NGOs, and students in 4 different countries, all working on real world problems in Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and I think it was Uzbekistan. And so what we were able to do was through the internet, we were able to work across languages. I think there were 3 different languages being spoken in this one class, and students were getting credit in Russia, Kyrgyzstan, and the US for courses for the coursework. And then we were having video guest lectures on the topic. It was on housing rights. And those guest lectures came from several different countries as well. And so I'm throwing that out as, you know, it was basically us asking one partner after another, hey, would you want to be involved? And everybody said yes. And next thing we know, we had this, it was 17 different nodes, 17 different groups involved in just one class. And we're doing something similar in summer. And almost all of our courses work in kind of that model. And so I think just the idea of us connecting with other universities, you know, our colleagues, we can reach out to, you know, universities at different in different countries in the global South, and I think they'll be excited to join. And I think also the sky's the limit with this kind of technology, and how do we connect, and how do we get students and faculty and community members working together on real world problems. So thank you.
Thank you, that's terrific.
May I ask a question or inquire about something? Because this is something interesting. I love the idea. We are a university, we are Sajas University in Lebanon, and one of the faculties, I mean, the Faculty of Law and Political Science is one of the most, I mean, it's a top-notch faculty here in Lebanon, and one of the oldest. I mean, this is, so we'd like to collaborate with you. If you'd like, could you please just DM your email for us to move forward in the request for collaboration, because we really love the idea. Thank you.
Definitely happy to.
So this is Lara Al-Arab from Sajas University, Lebanon. Thank you.
Yeah, in terms of further communication, I think we can move to next slide to show how we all can communicate. I mean, Now we see in real life how collaboration starts, but we have this platform youthpower.org. So we will share slides there, recording, and anyone can start posting her name, email, so everyone sees and can reply. So you get more engagement, more coverage, I would say, more effective way. And we will for sure review all your responses on Padlet with Yolanda and our team and share with you at the next meeting in terms of, we'll do thematic analysis. And next meeting, we plan to have May 6th, it's Thursday. I will share more in our YouthPower platform about exact time and links, everything, all passcodes. So please do register, add your profiles, your bios, photos, so we can keep in touch. And maybe you have any questions. Yeah, so this is great slide. It shows how you go to this website. There is pretty simple procedure to do. You just register and you can select any community of practice. You can register for all of them and you will receive any notifications, news, resources. Also, you can share them.
Yes, and thank you, Albina. Robin had suggested something great, like you guys, you're here, you can bring a partner that you work with from around the world into this community of practice. And as you have questions, can you also tell us, I mean, you got a snapshot of what this community of practice can do, you know, starting this dialogue. Tell us more. What you're hoping to get out of this, because we want to also make this useful for you, whoever you are. So please tell us what you'd like to get out of this. And if you have more questions, this is the time. I know what I'd like to get out of this community of practice. I've seen, whether in Afghanistan or in Latin America or in Africa, I've seen faculty in universities who agree with the principles of making their, you know, education more accessible, more relevant, more skill-based, but they don't know how to do it. I've seen youth organizations who say, we would love to get more skills. We would love to be in dialogue with university professors. We would love to graduate, but we don't know how to do it. And it's, I don't feel comfortable. And that's, there's a behavior change, right? That we can think of on both sides. And how can we tackle that? To really make the supply and demand match, to make needs be more achievable on each side. Yeah, Lisa says she would love to see positive youth development integrated. That's a great one. Regional approach, yes, absolutely. We would love, yeah, Carla Fernando, we would love to be, to bring people together from different parts of the world. But we need you, so please, I sound like I'm fundraising here, which I'm not, but bring your partners, bring your colleagues, whatever, universities, colleagues from universities, bring them on. If they have an idea, bring them on. They don't have to come every month, but they can come for a specific topic and say, this is my issue. Can you help? Let's talk about this.
Yeah, and you can present your topic and you will get new feedback, new people, fresh ideas. So we are facilitating your sharing and learning, and we will do in a friendly, smooth way, no pressure. We know everyone is busy Zooming. So we meet monthly and we just have really structured way to go forward based on your needs.
Thank you. Well, so Albina and I are gonna say goodbye. This is just the very beginning. We are here to serve you. I wish we could all have tea, coffee together or something else, but we're gonna do our best to make it happen. This is all about, we all here because we want to learn. We are all here because we want to make our organizations better. And in the end, we're all here because we want to make all these youth, the students, prospective, current, we want to serve them and make this world healthier, happier, and this dialogue is key to it. So so we humble, Albina and I are humbled by your participation and the wonderful opportunities that you all offer. So we will keep going with this dialogue online, and we'll get back to you soon. But thank you, and please participate. Tell us what to do. Tell us what you think. Tell us what to do, and we'll do it. Almost. Right. So Albina and I, we're saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you
soon.
very much, and thank you for your participation. Okay.
Nice to meet everyone.
Yes, nice from wherever you are. Goodbye. Have a good afternoon, good evening, sleep well,
Take
and
care.
have a good day.